the star of a stand-up comedy show. She's very funny. You can see her tonight at 25:02 at 7:30 p.m. Let's welcome our moderator, Lisa Correa!
Right here. If you have a question, we're going to line up about 10 people at a time. We have our wonderful crew on the ground here who will moderate that. But about 10 people, ask only one question. Don't overly take advantage of your microphone time, please. Just one question at a time. And with that, are you guys ready? All right, ladies and gentlemen, Martin Kove and William Zabka.
Everyone.
Get cozy.
All right. Wow, it's like the Tonight Show.
Look at this.
This is so comfortable, I don't want to fall asleep. How you guys all doing?
Well, welcome. So we're doing a Q&A. So the audience, if you guys have Q's, they're going to have A's for you. So you can go ahead and don't be shy. Go ahead. Yeah, there you go. All right. Welcome to my living room, gentlemen.
Good to be here. I like what you've done with the place. It's very nice.
Yeah. Okay. Hi. What's your name?
Stevie.
Hey, Stevie.
My question is, which did you prefer, doing Karate Kid or Cobra Kai?
Good question. Stevie, rock star. Well, wow, it's apples and oranges. Karate Kid was my first film. I was 18 years old, just going to college, studying to be a filmmaker, and went on a couple auditions, and one of them was Karate Kid, and I got it. So that was just having something happen at the first of your life like that was super exciting. So that's when I learned my martial arts. That's when the whole thing started. So I'm really, my heart's there. But Cobra Kai is a new fun adventure. It's really part two. It's, I would say, similar, same, different but same. Like the episode of Cobra Kai with Daniel and I, different but same. So it's hard to pick. It would be like picking between your kids. Some people might have a choice in that. I don't. But we're loving Cobra Kai because a movie's a movie. It's you shoot for 3 months, it's done, and it's sealed. This is really, we're doing seasons. Every season is like a 5-hour film. It's diced up into 10 half-hour parts. So we're making, kind of big films, each season. That's kind of our style. So, great question. I hope I answered it somewhat well.
So I'm curious now, were you saying that you started taking martial arts after you booked the role?
Yeah, I didn't know any karate. Didn't know karate. I never thought I really didn't think I would get the part. When I read the script, he was a motorcycle gang leader, he was a karate black belt. So I really took myself out of the equation, thinking, well, yeah. And so I learned everything for the film. They trained us.
Ridden a motorcycle before that?
No, I was my first time on a motorcycle. Yeah, first time with a black headband. Yeah. All the new things,
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, hi.
Hi.
Hey.
My name is Jenna, and my question is, what was your favorite season out of Cobra Kai?
Well, I think my favorite season it's a tough one because the entrance in season 1, episode 10, with Billy, and then the fight we had, I just really enjoyed the entrance. I just really enjoyed. So because I was coming in to the show, but I kind of like season 3 was very full, and that big fight through the window, and with Ralph and with Billy, and it was just a culmination of so much, culmination of so many problems between the three of us. And it was very rich. The writers write so well. You know, they write the characters just multifaceted, which is the difference between us doing the movie, which were white hats and black hats. You know, Johnny and I would, Billy and I with the, you know, black hats, and Ralph and Yagi with the white hats. So the show is really exciting because you get a chance to play some vulnerability and a lot of texture, more than if you were doing a movie, you know, which we kind of did. The movie was just dark and light. Now there's all kinds of texture, you know. But I would say season 3 was very exciting for me.
I haven't seen the show yet, so I don't know. Good? No.
I heard it's good.
Yeah, it's like, again, pick a kid. I love season 1 because it was the beginning, it was raw. It was the first time coming out of the gate. That was a great, fun experience to do that. Season 2, I love the fight with Marty. I love the stuff where he kind of misleads me. I go and visit him at the military home, and there's compassion. I love the dysfunctional relationship that we have as these characters that stuck with us from '83 till now. And you know, it's really kind of a love-hate, two alphas kind of bumping heads, and we both see things our way, and we both think we're seeing things the right way. And everything we do is with good-hearted intentions, even though those 2 points of view collide. So I love working with Marty and playing all those different levels. Season 3, I think was, like you said, I think it's really colorful. I love the arc that I had from being drunk at a bar to fixing Miguel, to bumping into Allie, and to the final fight with this guy, and then Daniel coming and saving the day, and then the bow at the end. I think was a great climax. So, it's hard to pick something. I mean, the whole thing is such a great ride. To me, it all strings together. So it's more like what kind of moments are my favorite, and they're all great for me. All fun. Good question.
Hi, my name's Lily. I was just wondering, what's your favorite moment while filming? Like your favorite scene?
Favorite scene? Well, I love working also with Ralph and the Johnny Daniel rivalry and the butting of heads. So I like doing some of the driving scenes with Daniel. Those are my fun. REO Speedwagon and the nuts and all that. Those are tops. Fighting him, you know, these guys are 2 guys that, you know, are different but same. They really have, they're so similar in so many ways, but they just have completely different programs downloaded into them. You got Daniel with the Miyagi and the balance, and then you got Johnny with this, you know, what are we gonna do? This influence in your life. If you got a crease in your life, you don't have much of a shot out there, kids. Pick your mentor wisely.
I personally love the scene we had in the men's shelter, where he follows me and we really, you know, break bread together emotionally. And it was just terrific. And that's when, you know, both of us kind of wailed, and, you know, emotionally in our eyes. And I remember what happened to me. And, you know, it was just very touching to be given another chance. And that's the kind of scenes I really like to do, much more than the tough guy stuff. You know, I think the tough guy stuff comes because there is a part of me that's dark. You know? But the real lively, love, vulnerable stuff is when we play, and you know that John Kreese feels that he is, that you know Johnny Lawrence is the son he never had. So it's that kind of appeal and reference that I enjoy playing as an actor. More than just, you know, the tough guy. Even though the tough guy stuff is a lot of fun.
You do it so well.
All right, thank you.
Good question.
I'm a big fan of How I Met Your Mother. I would love to know how your approach on playing a clown for your first time on that show. And are we going to see Neil Patrick Harris on Cobra Kai?
I would love to see Neil in the show. He's fantastic. Did you ask what my approach was to playing the clown?
How were you approached?
Oh, how was I approached to playing the clown? Yeah, okay. Well, I got a call. How I Met Your Mother was interested in me doing a guest spot. Or was I interested? Without seeing it, I said, "Sign me up. I'm in. I love that show." Then they sent me the script, and I turned the pages, and there's a clown, and there's a clown, and then there's Ralph Macchio, and there's a clown, and a clown, and Ralph Macchio, and a clown, and Ralph Macchio, and then at the very end, the clown takes his makeup off, and it's me. So I thought, well, that's a safe way to bring me back on television. Don't give me any lines. Cover me in white makeup and a wig and a rubber nose, you know. So that's how they approached me. And then the funny thing was that actually how I approached it, I thought, wow, if I'm going to play a clown, I want to be a really good clown. So I went to, looked at YouTube and I found like Wrigley Brothers Clown School. And have you ever seen that? Okay, so I actually like did this clown school. I was in my office doing like all the, you know, and the stuff. I learned all this stuff. So when I came to the set, I actually was like a mime and a clown, and it was so much fun. And then the very ending, I don't know who saw How I Met Your Mother. You guys, yeah, okay. That one scene at the end when I take my makeup off. So you're working with these guys on a show like that. It's just this fast. And you know, that was in its 8th season, so it was a well-oiled machine, the thing's moving really quick, everybody knows what they're doing, and you're a guest, you're the new guy. And all of a sudden, at the very end, I have to take off my makeup and walk towards Barney and do this big monologue. And it was right before lunch, so we had maybe 10 minutes to get the shot. I had to do it one time. If I messed up, they'd have to do my makeup, and I would have thrown the whole day off. On top of that, the director, who was great, this lady named Pam Fryman, who directed almost every single episode, she said, okay, so Billy, this is what you gotta do is you gotta step forward, go like this, do the line. Then you gotta do this, then you gotta do this, you gotta take your foot off, then the jacket. There was like 10 different physical things I had to do to get the gi off. And then they said action. And I had no rehearsal of all that stuff, so now I have to do it, and it worked. That was the one take you see on TV, that was the one and only take, and it was fantastic. It was so great at the end. I think Neil was really like going, yeah, and he said like, William Zabka, like I nailed my lines, I think is what he was saying. You know, you did it, you know, and then they brought me back for season 9, which was awesome. Anyway, that was great. I owe a lot to How I Met Your Mother because you know, they called me out of the blue and put me on a hit television show as myself, which got me to do some comedy, and people got to see me like that. And it was a real good shot in the arm for my career and working with those guys, who are all the best. Cobra, Jason Segel, and all those guys were just so incredible. So. So there's a long answer to a very simple, short question.
I believe that's the reason Cobra Kai is so highly recognized now, too, so.
Yeah, props to Barney Stinson.
What's up, Martin and William? I'm Josh, how you doing? Welcome to Kansas City.
Thank you.
Okay, so guys, there's no fear behind this question that I'm gonna ask you. Obviously, season 4, the hype is beyond real. We saw the very familiar silhouette of one Terry Silver has set the internet on fire. Guys, I'm curious, when it comes to season 4, will Terry Silver be coming alone? And what do you think about the possible addition of Mike Barnes?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because that's why we're here today, is to give all the spoilers for season 4. But you can't leave this room, all right?
It's all right, we all
know nobody's taping this and everything, so we're safe, okay? Next question. Great question, though. I know it's exciting. Terry Silver's definitely back. Can't tell you more than that. It will not disappoint, but it will surprise you. These writers write way ahead of us even. We think we know what's coming next. And even when we turn the pages, we're surprised. So everybody's trying to figure it out, put the puzzle together, and never happen. We can't do it. We're playing the characters. So you're in for a good show. They're going to leak out the trailers as they come, and be done the right timing. So
It's big. It's like the 10 Commandments. It's big. You're going to see.
it's like the 10 Commandments.
It's like bigger. Cobra Kai and Ben-Hur together.
It's like Raiders of the Lost Ark meets Ghostbusters.
Hi, I'm Seth, and I was wondering, what is your favorite choreography / fight scene kind of thing? That you're favorite.
Good question. Marty, you want to take it?
Yeah, I think my favorite choreography was fighting Billy at the end of season 3, and then fighting Ralph, which I found, of all the heroic things to do, Ralph, I was at that point of choking Billy, and Ralph saves Billy's life, and then we go at it, and then I lift him up and plow through the window, which of course was the stuntman. And Billy wanted to do it for me, but
No, you asked them to do it, me to do it for you.
I couldn't let him hurt himself. But it was just so rich because these cats had 2 takes, and the first take, for some reason, the window didn't fall the way the camera would have liked it. So the second take was just careening through that glass. Reminded me of Karate Kid 2 when I went through the glass myself. But this was a very big glass, and it was so rich. And the choreography let us play the moment where we're all culminating outside the window. And you all saw it. And, standing in glass, and Billy looks at Ralph and wants me to die. He gives him the nod, and then I'm saved by Mary screaming no, at the end. But it was just all that choreography played into the emotions of all the characters. It was so right on that action, that fight, and then what was resolved, the winner of the tournament will sustain himself, the dojo. And it was great. That's how the writers write. They really write so that all the physical stuff plays into the emotions of every character, which is tough to do, Sometimes you get to do a movie where there's just gratuitous violence, But like in Rambo, a lot of violence wasn't really geared towards each character. But everything in Cobra Kai, all the physicality is driven by the emotions of each and every character. That's why Billy is so fun.
I don't know. I think what's coming, season 4, is some of my favorite choreography, so you have some good fights to look forward to for sure in that. They're all good. We have a great stunt crew, a great stunt team. These guys are really innovative. When we did Karate Kid, it was pretty much 2 styles. I learned Tang Soo Do, which is a Korean style. Ralph learned Okinawa Te, which is a defensive soft style. And we pretty much stuck to that. But now, and today in martial arts in general, it's mixed. It's a little bit of everything, right? So our choreographers are bringing in different kinds of moves from different kinds of styles, so that's really been fun in every single fight to play with new things. And the idea is that Johnny's picked up some things along the way, like when Kreese says, "I taught you everything you know," and Johnny says, "Not everything," and this kind of wheel kick from the ground and kick the cigar out of his mouth. That's a new, I forgot the style that is, but that was like a different style. So we're learning new moves and new stuff too, so it's all exciting. I love in the first episode of season 1, the fight with the teenagers in the parking lot so far is my emotional favorite one. It's been the most, I think, fulfilling, because that was the first time Johnny Lawrence pulled out his weapons since 1984, So the emotional part of that and protecting this kid kind of set the tone of who Johnny is and why he's doing it. So I really enjoyed that. I love fighting with Marty in season 2. We had a great fight at the beginning when he comes in and we have our fight. We worked really hard on that one and moved really fast. I think I jammed my toe one time in his foot because I was moving in on him and he didn't back up in time, or I moved too quick. And, my toe completely jammed inside. Yeah, those happen, by the way. We're all being, I moved too quick. So my toe jammed inside, and I got a stunt guy standing over there, and see you guys, and he was ready to jump in, but we want to do our own stunts because there's a difference. If you see a stunt guy doing the fight, sometimes it comes off and it looks like, a video game, like some really great technical martial artist like Street Fighter or something, which is great, but what we're bringing to it, Ralph, all of us, is character in the martial arts, because martial arts is unique to each person. So as much as possible, I want to do it, even if it's a little slop, this and that, it's all on purpose. I jammed my toe, hobbled over to the side, and literally yanked my toe out, and didn't tell anybody, but I mean, the electricity that went up my leg, if you ever had that happen, it was not fun. But yeah, we get very physical every fight we're doing.
Do you get injured a lot because they are very physical roles?
Yeah, I mean, we don't, not injured, but like for instance, the fights with Daniel, with me and Ralph in my apartment, where I kick him into the TV, that fight was a lot bigger than they cut together at the end. But you know, he's got really good blocks. Like Ralph in real life, he's been doing that since 1983. You know? And he's got these great like pop weapons, and his arms are like a baseball bat. So every time I go to do a punch, it's like bam! It's like, dude, chill. Damn, dude, chill. So by the end of the day, I'm like, literally, we have pictures, and we haven't posted them yet, but both of our arms from here to here is just bruises. And it literally feels like you just took your arm and slammed it against a pole, because we shoot this stuff over and over and over. So yeah, it's very physical, we move very fast. In Karate Kid, we didn't have any of that because we had so much time to practice. We had 5 days a week, 4 hours a day, learning those fights exactly, specifically. And we never really, except one time, had one little slip up at the fence fight where I round kicked Ralph in the face. It's fine. Got over it. But you know, we never got close because when we did Karate Kid, we had pads on to start, and he would be back 2 or 3 feet from me, and I'd be back 2 or 3 feet from him, and we would use pads, and then we would get closer and closer and closer until the pads were literally barely grazing each other. And then after weeks, months, then we would take the pads off. So literally all that stuff, we never had one accident in any of that fighting. On this show, we're more prone to having clashes because it moves so fast. We learn these fights sometimes the same day, and we have to shoot them at such a high rate of speed. So it's very physical. Everybody's getting a little bit of a ding, but it's fun. It's cool. It feeds us.
And you're a little bit older from the movie.
No, I'm not. Yeah, a little bit.
You guys are great.
A little bit. Hey, listen, we're doing it. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's awesome. Hey.
Good question.
Hi, I'm Chloe, and my question would definitely be, what is your favorite line in the movies and the TV show? So, like, overall favorite line out of everything.
And sweep the lid. That was for you, Chloe.
I think when I first meet you, the real stories will be just begun. I just love that line. You know, I say it in my sleep. I say it to my girlfriend.
That's his answer machine.
I just
leave a message.
Saying it. You know, say it to my kids. You know. But I think that's my favorite line from the show. You know, favorite line is, it's really, you know, no mercy, or when I wipe your nose. I mean, when I wipe your nose and that, and it just, the look, I think I said, sweep the leg. You have a problem with that. It just, the rich part, which is an actor, a lot of great words are said between lines, you know. And when you read a script and the emotions between the dialogue, between the lines, often is so rich when the scene is so right. And that scene is so right. And God knows we've seen it so many times, in, you know, in trailers. But when I wipe your nose, I said, "Do you have a problem with that?"
You do. He looks at you like that.
You know,
you have to say no, sensei.
You know, it's just terrific. You know, and finish him. I like that finish him, which we did. The director, John Avildsen, we did it in the soundstage while we were just looping. And finish him was said originally quietly. You know, finish him. And then John said, no, blurt it out. And a lot of people like that line too, you know. Finish him! You know, it was like, I say it in my sleep again. But that's the dialogue I like.
Just like, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dylan, and my question is, what was your initial reaction to Cobra coming back for like season 1?
Well, we were all surprised to see the trailer. They did it, we couldn't believe it. They approached us. So for me, they approached me before Ralph, I think, when they were coming up with the story, the three creators of the show, took me to a restaurant, said we have an idea for a movie. I knew these guys because I worked with one of the writers of Hot Tub Time Machine, and the other two created Harold and Kumar, and I knew them, and I always felt like we'd be working together someday. Didn't know on what. They emailed me and said, hey, we have an idea for a project. Let's go get some lunch. And so I thought, okay, maybe Harold and Kumar 5 or something, or Hot Tub 4 or something like that. And they said, okay, Karate Kid, Cobra Kai, Johnny Lawrence. So they pitched season 1 to me in its entirety over a bowl of chips, and my head was spinning. And I couldn't. And I said, okay, what's the tone of this? Is it funny? Is it serious? Is it heartfelt? It's all those things. One way they sold it to me was they said if there was no such thing as Karate Kid, we could call this Bad Sensei, like Bad Santa, and you would be the Bad Sensei. And then I got where they were going with it. So it was tentative at first. I was, this is a long time ago we did Karate Kid, so to come back with an idea like this, it was very big, and to get myself too invested in it would have been hard if it didn't work out. So I held it lightly, Ralph held it lightly, and then we went out and developed it, pitched it, and so it was exciting though the whole time. I mean, I felt like when we finished that lunch, I felt like literally like the character of Johnny Lawrence, like opened across the eye, and I could see it, and held up a bottle of beer, and I'm like, here he is. So like that was it. But we were really careful, all of us went into this to do something that was relevant for today. That was going to be on the point, because if this thing failed, if it was, it could have been a total train wreck. So we were all very careful and cautious about that. And the writers have they're the super fans of Karate Kid. And
tell that they're super fans.
Super fans, yeah.
And as a fan of the show, also, I know when I first heard about it, I don't know if you guys agree with this, but when I first heard about it, I was like, oh no, please don't mess this up. You know what I mean? Like, because anytime there's a beloved movie from your childhood and they try to redo it in some way, it's usually bad, and this is so good.
Definitely a lot of risk involved. I think everybody watched the trailer and like, oh, that's gonna be either good or really bad, and so far so good, yeah.
Oh man.
Good question, buddy, thanks.
Hey, what's up? My question is for William. I've been waiting 20 years to ask you this question, because about 20 years ago, I had the wackiest William Zabka encounter that I've been telling people about for decades.
Uh-oh.
It's become an urban legend at this point.
Okay.
There were about 20 witnesses to this. Okay. I was there, you were there.
You want to know if it was really me, right?
Was really you.
Okay, let's hear it. This is going to be good, guys.
All right. So 20 years ago, I'm standing in line outside the Directors Guild, Sunset Boulevard, for a film festival screen. There were probably about 20 or 30 other people in line. We were there about an hour. There's an open little courtyard in front that was empty, so it was just the people in line. A car pulls up. You get out of the car. And then from out of nowhere, there were about 20 kids jumping out of trees, coming from behind pillars. I think one kid crawled out of a manhole. They're running diagonal directions, hooting and hollering. They all plant themselves in front of you, and then in unison they go, sweep the leg, ha! No mercy, ha! And then 10 seconds later, they all run off in different directions, and they vanish. There was no sign that these kids existed. You paused, put on some sunglasses, adjusted your suit, and walked into the building like the coolest cat in Hollywood. Now that's how I remember the story. What's your version of that story?
Let's just stick with yours, man.
This was obviously, like a year before the term flash mob became a thing. Was that?
Yeah. I'm not going to pop your bottle, dude, but that wasn't me.
I'll have a seat then.
Sorry, yeah, but it sounds good. I'll tell you one thing that's very similar to that, and if you were a kid in a martial art camp, there's a story very similar to that, because I would go and teach karate camps in the summer with my trainer, and there was about 300 kids all lined up in the field, getting ready to do their warm-ups, and I came down. I have a CJ7 Laredo Jeep, and I did come down in my Guillen headband with a big tarp over the back of it with a bunch of Karate Kids in it. And I came, from true story, I came down a hill, big big hill, and my four-wheel drive pulled up in front of everybody. The tarp did come off, kids jumped off, and we did that. So are you confusing, maybe, were you at that camp? Did you have an accident and bump your head somewhere and confuse the... Because that really never happened, I don't know. I mean, that's pretty elaborate. Manholes, the whole thing. I mean, it sounds like a great dream. Sometimes dreams feel very real.
Well, at this point, guys, I mean, you definitely are iconic, and I'm guessing that you're getting recognized everywhere now. Are you having weird encounters with fans?
It's a little more now. I mean, you know,
Very strange.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just, you know, it's just more. It's like, you know, it's just a different. Netflix is a big platform, you know, and even if you don't want to see the show, you're watching the trailer, you know, it's in your face. So. It's good though, you know, that's what we do. We're here to entertain, you know. Not only here to entertain, by the way. Mostly, yeah, so it's fine. No weird encounters, just nice people, you know.
Yeah, I think that we really appreciate, you know, we've been living in the Karate Kid world for years, going to autograph shows and all, but the attention now is it's so rich, and so many people have been made happy by the show being, you know, it's really rich in the sense of kids love it because they go tell their parents about the show. And then the parents tell the kids about the movies. So that it goes back and forth. And it's such an education. And I think the success of the show is based on what we haven't had in a long time. Wonderful show like the Ed Sullivan Show, where everybody in the family can get around the TV and watch Cobra Kai and get something from it. So I feel really good about what we're giving to everybody because it's great. You know, kids identify with it. You know, I've been in places where there's a 6-year-old who comes and asks for an autograph or a picture. And 2 hours later, I'm in a cigar lounge in Ybor City in Tampa, and there's a 6-to-7-year-old couple from Brooklyn coming up to me and saying, you know, we watch the show diligently. We're from Brooklyn and we live here in Florida. Can we take a picture? So when the cross section is that big, from a 6-year-old to a 67-year-old, you know you're in Billy Zabka show. And you know you can be happy that you're part of the show.
Mr. Kove, Mr. Zabka, thanks for being here today. This question relates mostly to Cobra Kai, but you may certainly be able to speak to the Karate Kid. In filming, do you tend to stick very strictly to what is written in the script, or as actors, do you get to bring your own ideas, improvising lines, the way something should be read or portrayed?
It's a mix because, you know, I think
Marty never learns his lines. Everything you see is from him.
Yeah, I mean, I've always rewritten lines in movies and things, and then only recently I stopped doing that. And I did it because I guess it was easier to learn if I changed a word here and there. And Billy and I had a problem with a scene just right before the end of season 4. And we rewrote the scene over the weekend, sent it to the writers, and the writers, you know, they gave us credit. Yes, it's good, your writing is good, but let's just keep it the same. And we really tried to make this scene, both of us had a problem with the scene. And it was coming out of episode 10, you know, season 4, and I had the hardest time. And we ultimately worked, I guess. But I stopped doing that with these writers because they're really good. But whenever we do have a problem, we can take it to them, and sometimes they'll say, okay, do it your way. And you know, you'll change a word here and there. But by and large, their writing is good. which is why everybody likes the show. It's really good writing, and you know, we've all been part of movies that were dreadfully written, and God knows you wonder why they ever got made. You know? And then there are movies like Rambo, who Sly has 9 lines. I have more lines than he does, but it's nonstop action, you know, and pictures work for that reason too. So, you know, I tried not to rewrite much in Cobra Kai, and they give me these big speeches, and I'm pontificating a lot, you know, but it's written well. And if I can learn the lines easily, that means it's written well. Like when you have a tough time learning a line, usually it's poorly constructed. Go ahead. What would you say?
That's a good note. I mean, you know, our job is, first of all, you're an actor, so you're not saying things like your character isn't saying things the way you would say it. So you may read a line and go, it'd be better to say it this way. It comes off my tongue better this way. It's the same meaning, but I want to do it this way. But that's the default. That's the cop-out. That's a crutch. What you're really supposed to do is you're supposed to go and get the muscle memory on your tongue for the way that this line is written. Because usually by the time it gets to you, it's gone through the writer's room, it's gone through studio notes, it's gone through network notes, it's gone through all the producers, all the writers, and now you have it. So if you think you're going to come here and fix everything, so before first you got to do it, serve it that way. If there's an intention, or if there's for me it's not a word, it's more of an idea, and how that idea connects. Like I don't think Johnny would do this. I think Johnny, that's too much for that. No, that will redo the whole thing. But as far as the words go, it's pretty much important at least to get it nailed the way it was written, and then play with it. As far as improvising, once you're in the pocket, you're nailing it. Then they're like, just go with it, and you can have a lot of fun and do that. You know, Paul Walter Hauser, who plays Stingray, is great with that. Like remember him in the Home Depot, and he's like, heard you? Yeah, that guy's so funny and he's so quick. So he just riffed a whole bunch of different things. Like remember the '80s when this happened and that happened. You know, as an actor, your job is to say the text, and sometimes that's the work. It's not comfortable sometimes to say things. Sometimes you don't even want to say it because you're like, that hurts to say it. Like Johnny wouldn't say it. You know, it's uncomfortable. But that's the job, and that's what's great. So you know, for me and Marty, all of us were. I mean, like I died of Billy. Billy's gone. When I play Johnny Lawrence, like I have to wake up 3 months later and kind of find me again, because I will go right into this guy, and trust the words, and trust the actors, you know. So for me, that's the journey. That's the work as an actor. It's like I want to do it my way, I want to do it this way, but they have it constructed a certain way. You know, I owe it to serve that first. So, but then, you know, then there's movies you do. Like Marty said, I did a movie one time in Bulgaria. It was the biggest penis. And I literally, I got there, no joke, and I got the script. I won't say what movie it was, but I got there and I said to the producer, I said, this is the worst script I ever read. He goes, I said, can I make some tweaks? He says, go have at it. So I sat in the production office and rewrote the whole thing, and they shot it. Yeah. So they didn't care. They just wanted to make their movie. But on something like this, you know, Karate Kid, this kind of caliber, you know, it's been vetted. How I Met Your Mother, like you don't mess with a word. Like if I came on How I Met Your Mother and said, I have an idea, like there's like an army of like, I mean, when you do a table read for How I Met Your Mother, they got a big table, there's Neil, there's the whole cast, the director, all the producers, the network. I mean, you're surrounded in a room and it's like a stadium, and you're surrounded, you're at a table. And if you decide you want to like, you know, you never have an idea. So I learned on that show, like, I'm not gonna say, I'm just gonna say what they write, and they know what they're doing, you know. Maybe when you're the star of the show, then you can play around with it like we do now. You know,
it's really funny because I did the Goldberg same thing, and you don't mess with a well-oiled machine, you know. And God, you know, how many times we had this discussion the first time you did How I Met Your Mother, and you know, Billy had the same thing I did. We walk into a set, we have a reputation, we can fix this. I'm pretty good fixing the script. He writes, so he knows what he's doing. But you can't go in there. You're dealing with people who just know what they're doing. And you never really know that until down the line. You know, our writers know what they're doing. How I Met Your Mother, the writers know what they're doing. They look at you like, you want to change something? Well, you know, sweep the leg. It's like, and you know, you basically just shut up and you just do what you're told, and it usually works out better. It does. Even with those flashbacks and stuff you saw in Vietnam, I had a whole list when I went to see them for season 2, and I met with mercenaries, I met with Army Rangers, met with all these people to discuss their flashbacks. And these guys are so astute. We sat in a hotel, in a restaurant in Beverly Hills, and they said, we did that already. We've made that note. We have it all set up. It'll be in season 3. Blah, 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 blah. And when you're dealing with characters who create your show with that astute, all you can do is shut up and say their words.